Yeah.
Hi, friends up there in TV land or whatever. It's what I learned this week. Is that what we call this show?
That's it.
Fitz and Nay here with you again on a Friday, 11 a.m. sharp, where we're going to discuss things. And we have actually a little bit of a different show today. Nay, why don't you tell the fine listener what we've got going on.
Where's that button? Yeah, well,
Oh, it's right
okay.
here.
Thank you. So I had a little bit of an idea this week, not because I didn't learn something this week, but I was a little late on the learning. So I thought it would be kind of fun to share a little bit about myself, because lots of people know about you and they know a little bit about us. But I wanted to mention that in addition to being an artist and a creative content manager and a writer and an author and a teacher and all those kinds of things, I'm also a professional organizer. And
Really?
Yes, I like to.
Oh, you did tell me that.
That was my first business.
The first thing that I think when I first met you, you mentioned you were a professional organizer.
I have it's a superpower. I'm really good at walking into a room and being like, oh, I see that they don't have a system for this or that. It's not a judgy thing. It's just a noticing. It's a noticing. So I'm really good at that stuff. My dad's an engineer, my mom's a teacher. They both had a lot of systems, and so I'm just super organized. And I'm actually not very attached to things. I get very attached to people and have a hard time letting go of people. Stuff I can kind of let go.
Got a whole pile of people in your basement, kind of thing.
Kinda. I'm kinda
creepy.
I just hold on to people and don't want to ever let go. But a lot of people feel that about their stuff, that somebody passes away and then they get the stuff and they're like, I don't even want that.
It almost feels like a sin to get rid of it. It's like, oh gosh.
Well, there's a lot of emotional connection to those things, right? Oh, that was Dad's chair, and
the worst part is when it's innocuous, like stupid things, like that was a paper clip that was on his desk 30 years ago.
That's where the hoarding starts for real. And I actually work with a lot of hoarders and people who what that is that everything has meaning. Can't differentiate. Prioritize what's really you can't separate the wheat from the chaff. So I've used to do this, and when my son was very small, I had a business called Raz to the Rescue, and I would go into people's homes, and it started off as just staging, to help people to get their houses sold, but it turned into something bigger. And what I really started to understand was that there truly is, I understood the concept of baggage, but I really saw what people's baggage was, and they really let me into their homes, and I kind of love it. Like, I love the work. There's like a psychology piece to it, and help and being gentle with people and teaching them that maybe they don't have to keep all 500 pairs of the pantyhose. Maybe that their dad gave them, Their
dad gave them pantyhose?
Well, because he worked at Hanes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like the only thing
the backstory is crucial for that, because otherwise it starts to get weird.
Oh, yeah, that was a little creepy. That was a creepy one. Or like the woman who, I didn't know this, but she had survived 9/11 and moved here from New York. And I didn't know this, but I worked with her to help her declutter. That's all she hired me to do. And she had boxes and boxes and boxes that were not even open. And they were sealed shut. And I started opening them, and I found baby clothes and then men's clothes. And she was a single woman. And I was like, what is this? Her son and her husband died in 9/11. Oh my God. I know. And so how could she let them go? And she couldn't. And anyway.
You need to come to my house.
You need
to. No. You'll never leave, unfortunately. You'll be like, it'll be some nightmare for you. But
a lot of people say that you pick a project and you start to work on it little.
We have bins of baby clothes that Kelly can't get rid of, and I'm like, one of these days, I'm just going to go down there and I'm going to grab them and I'm going to.
No, but see, that will be traumatic
no,
for her.
I wouldn't.
Right,
I wouldn't do that.
So then it just becomes, there's things that you can do. Like some of them you keep, and you create a specific, each child gets a baby bin. And then, anyway, I won't get into all that boring stuff, but there are strategies that you can do. Because
it's an episode for another day.
It is. It's the follow-up. But so what I thought that we could do today, because people always talk about spring cleanup, spring
cleaning.
But fall is actually another really good time to evaluate. Everyone sort of goes around the outside of their house, and you bring in the hoses and you take in the lawn ornaments.
Bring in your hose.
I don't know. My dad told me the hose will crack if you leave it outside. So I bring in the hose, and you bring in your lawn ornaments and your lawn furniture. But it's also a really good time to look inside and think about like.
Do you bring in the gnomes too, or you leave them out for the whole winter?
I bring everything in.
You do?
I do, but that's me.
Yeah.
So if you value your gnomes, you should bring them in. So anyway,
value your gnomes.
So I started thinking about what is happening inside the house, and I haven't done because I tend to declutter as I go. I don't really have a big clutter issue, but I did go to somebody's house to evaluate what's going on for them, and I was like, wow, this is stuff that like they could do ongoing. That's things that need to be done in an ongoing way. And so I made some suggestions, and then I kind of thought to myself, you know what? I do have that one bin from when I moved into my house. It was like the indiscriminate, I don't know what to do with this bin, and it's big, and I tossed everything in.
I have a dozen of those kinds of bins. Oh my God.
So I had this idea with you that I said, why don't we each grab something that we have that is sort of not purposeful. It's just something that doesn't have a lot of even necessarily use. It can be sort of useless, but you can't really stand to let it go. And so you want to share about where you landed with that this morning?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I can just let's this is this is what I have picked up.
Oh my God.
And we'll see if I can get the wide shot here so you can see it. It is essentially it's a
monkey's paw.
It's a back scratcher, I believe.
Oh my God, I love that.
But it is kind of it's kind of not a great back scratcher, but it's okay. But
this game is over. We're trading. I want that.
You can't have it.
Oh, what? Okay,
that's why I can't get rid of this thing.
Okay, so I want this. So tell us about the story.
This was just a random purchase at a garage. I have to have it. And originally, I bought this because I wanted to put it in the movie Bottom Feeders. I wanted this to be what one of the professors always had with him. But
it was nixed.
My producing partner Steve Miller, the director and writer of the movie,
like Steve Miller, I want to fly.
Not that Steve Miller, different Steve Miller. Okay. He put the kibosh on the wood hand.
I think that's just humorous as it is.
I thought it was a little too much. So
okay,
but. So this is So actually,
wait. So when you saw that at the garage sale, take me through the thought process.
There was no thought process.
I want that because
it was a guttural, knee-jerk sort of Neanderthal reaction of I have to have that. How much is it? The guy could have told me $20. I would have paid $20. Thankfully, I think I only paid $2.
What if he said $200? Where's your?
No, $20 is
50. Oh, $20. Okay.
And even then, my wife was with me. She probably wouldn't let me spend $20 for a carved piece of.
I'm crazy about it.
But it's funny because it has kind of a royal idea, like the felt with the little.
It's velvet.
It's velvet with
it's purple velvet.
Yes, it just has sort of like a court jester type of. Louis
the 16th. Where do you keep it?
I keep it here actually.
Oh, Kelly said, get that out of the house.
No. I brought it here when we were doing the movie. It didn't get just never went back home.
Okay, I love it, and if I had it, I would. That would be that would be a hard thing to get. It's so quirky and whimsical. It just having it in the corner is hilarious. I'm in love with it, but so I'm with you. This is going to be a problem.
Now it's like you ever see A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise, and he can't think without his bat. He's got his favorite bat. This is my thinking back scratcher.
Well, now I know we're going to be in competition with each other at garage sales.
McFly.
Because I love that. So I love the story. I love that it was an emotional purchase. I love that you keep it here in the studio and that you honor it in that way.
Yes.
But a lot of people get things like that, and they can't just get rid of it, and it's not even out or displayed. They sort of put it into the back of their closet, in a box, in another box, and they just can't let things go. So for me, I had 3 options. I'm going to tell you what I didn't bring first. They were all things that were in the big box. Okay, so the box was filled with things like mirrors that I can't get rid of because, like, maybe I'll want another mirror one day.
Sure, you can never have enough
decorative
mirrors.
Mirror. There were sconces in there. I'm ensconced in sconces. Because maybe I'll want to put up a sconce somewhere. I don't know. There were some old pillowcases that a certain someone that I liked very much slept on, and I couldn't get rid of. That's kind of creepy, but that's true.
I can see it.
So I didn't bring. I was like, I'm not bringing those things.
I don't know if that's necessarily creepy.
Super sentimental.
Unless you didn't know the person and you snuck into their house and stole their pillowcases, then it might be.
No, but to me, it falls into the category of not being able to get rid of people. Like that should just be gone. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, I'll leave that. It's just not taking up that much space. Blah blah. Right. But the two other things that I did not bring today were, one, I have a drum pad. Like that I bought. A practice pad. It's black and it's got the red thing. I don't need it because I have a drum set because I also play the drums. And so I don't need this pad, but I bought it like in college when I was like dating this guy who was a drummer, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to play the drums. And so I used it, and it's
work on your paradiddles.
Right, left, right, left. But so I still have that, and I was like, oh, I could let that go, but it's not super useless.
Yeah.
The second thing that I found was in a box, and I didn't actually know what it was. And I opened it up, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this stage. I went through a stage where I was like, I want to cook really well. And I thought that the cooking skills had to do with like the quality of your pots and your stoneware and
quality
stuff.
of your pot really does affect your cooking.
The brownies, it affects, right? So I had this like Le Creuset.
Top notch.
Teeny, but yes, so expensive.
But little tiny.
It's like a butter melter. That's what it is. And I'm like, it's got the price tag on it. It's
ceramic. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's chartreuse, which is a color that I love. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll use this someday. And then I stuck it back in the box, inside the box.
So that was what was in the little box?
Right. That was what was in the little box that I told you I was going to maybe bring. Okay, but this is what I brought, and I'm just going to hold it up for the viewers.
It's you got to take it out of the bubble wrap.
I'm showing you. It's that precious. It's wrapped in bubble wrap.
Hold it up to the camera up there.
Okay.
So,
I'm holding it. Okay. It's in bubble wrap.
Okay.
So, do you want to hear the story first or show you the monstrosity?
Let's see it and then give us the backstory.
Okay.
So hold it up right in front of your punum.
Okay. In front of my face. It's really wrapped. Sorry. Okay. Let's make sure it's the right way. You have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right over my face.
What?
Can you see it? No, you have to do everything backwards.
It looks Aztec or something.
Yes. Would you like to guess what the story is around this? Do you want to study it?
I'm trying to look and see.
Can you see? Can you see what's happening at the top here?
This is marriage.
Yeah.
It's a wedding. Oh, okay. So it's a wedding plate.
Yes, it's a wedding.
But is it a Mexican wedding plate?
It's a Mexican wedding plate.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Because it's
clay.
Mm-hmm. So
that's gorgeous.
That's not what it's been called in the past.
No, I thought it was an ugly ass plate when I first saw the picture of it, but upon further inspection, I can appreciate the artistry.
Okay, thank you. It's hand painted Mexican plate, and if anyone's probably ever gone to Mexico, they have these little marketplaces where there are all these women that are making all this incredible things. So immediately after my now ex-husband and I were married, we went to Ixtapa, specifically Zhuatanejo, for our wedding.
Did you see Andy Dufresne?
Thank you. Do you know that's why we picked it?
Of course.
Because it's our favorite movie.
Of course, because how would you have ever heard of that place other than
we literally love the movie
from Shawshank Redemption?
I'm going to tell you, it ain't nothing like the movie.
No, never is.
But we went to Ixtapa. We went to Zhuatanejo. Oh my God, he's going to kill me for telling this story. He was scared, kind of like he was a little scared, and we went to like a fishing area, and it was like we didn't speak the language.
Like of the locals, kind of scared of it. Was it? He was like, a little dodgy.
He was like, let's just go back to the resort or whatever.
People looking at you like
he's gonna kill me.
Oh yeah, gringo, what you doing?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He felt a little.
It's tough
scared.
when you travel and you go sort of outside the tourist areas.
I don't have that fear. But,
no, yeah.
But he had the wallet, so you know. But anyway, I mean, I wasn't nervous. But anyway, we did go to this marketplace, and we were on our honeymoon. It was like 24 hours past our wedding, and we purchased this plate. And I know he doesn't want it because it was in the pile of things that he returned to me. So I've never had it up. It's never been displayed. But I look at it, and I mean, there were many of these, right? There was like an array. And I look at this, and it's like there's these two people, and there's this scene, and there's all these people gather. I mean, look at it, y'all. Like, can you see that there's these wedding people? I know it's hard to see, but there's these wedding... it's the wrong way. These wedding...
This is the camera, so point it at that.
I know. Okay. There's these wedding people. But see, it's backwards. And they're married, and there's all these people watching them. And then you hold it up, and there's the sunshine. And then there's all these people, like, having a celebration. Yeah. Anyway, I've never displayed it. It is. We were married in 1990. Oh, my God.
Can't remember.
95.
Mid-90s.
My mid-90s. We were married in the mid-90s, and either 95 or 97. Jeez, that's terrible.
Well, you've got, other things to think about and remember.
It's terrible. Anyway, it was a love, he doesn't want it. I don't want it. And every time I open the damn box, it makes me sad. And yet I can't let it go. I'm like, it was a dream. It was a lovely day. I was so happy. All our family.
Third caller to 585. We'll get.
So what my idea was for everybody, since I've gone on and on about this, was that people could tell us which one of us has the least, like the thing that needs to go the most, and then and we'll give people 24 hours to let us know. And then next week, there will be something else that will have to happen in conjunction with this.
Where does it go? Because you're going to have to pry this from my cold, dead fingers if you...
Well, we'll discuss that after the show because we're going to have to do what it... Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. But that was my idea. So I guess I'm telling everyone you have 24 hours. So it's 11 o'clock. You have till 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to vote which one of us... Which thing needs to go the most, right? Because one of us gets to keep our stuff, and one of us gets to let it go.
Yeah. So and today is Friday, so tomorrow is Saturday, and that would be the October 1st. No,
the 29th, right?
Yeah, tomorrow's October 1st.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, tomorrow's October. Today's the 30th.
Oh, I'm really behind.
You are.
Oh God, I'm 2 days behind. Okay, so October. Oh my God, that means I have to do something else tomorrow that I really thought I had 2 more days to do. Okay, I'm really glad you told me that. Anyway, so that was the idea, and I guess I would also say if there's someone out there who really wants this thing, please let yourself be known because we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Same with the monkey paw.
No.
You can't. You knew that this was about letting go.
No, but I couldn't find the things I wanted to let go.
That's not my problem. Oh. The discussion was you have to be willing to let something go.
Aren't you a hard ass? All right, this remote can go.
I don't. What? No, I just got this. You gotta have something you're willing to let go. That now you're manipulating the crowd. All one of them.
Yeah.
So
anyway. There is.
So that was
there is only one person watching right now.
Oh my God. Well, right now, but people do. It's 11 o'clock. Normal people have work to do, and they'll listen later. But
well, that's not our audience anyway.
That's not our audience. So that was my thought today, and then I'm curious if you had any learning this week or anything on the topic of letting go.
It's really, really hard for me to let things go. And actually, it's interesting because that's kind of been something that I've been working on over the last few years personally, and not physical objects, but letting go of the past. I used to carry around a lot of regrets, stupid shit, like things that I said, things that I did that most likely the people that were involved don't even remember. But for me, it's like this marquee, this neon light that's flashing. This is what you did. And it's not like they're horrible. It's not like I murdered someone or anything, but you know what I mean? But it was like, you
have some shame is what you're saying. You have some shame.
Mistakes that I made, things that I wish I would have done differently, things like that. And
is it all that direction? Like things that you messed up or feel you messed up on? Is there any resentment like going out to the world that you can't let go?
No, it's all inward.
It's all inward.
Yeah, it's all resenting and regretting decisions I made and paths that I chose to take rather than other paths. But and this is a daily thing. Every day I have to say, I really like where I'm at right now. I really like the people that are in my life. I like the things that I do every day. I love my family. I love where I live. Sure, it's not perfect, but I think about where would I be had I made those other choices? And it doesn't matter because I wouldn't be here.
Right. I love where you are. I'm so glad. I love what you do. You aren't even really probably even aware. Even when you just write a little post of like recently you said the Elvis show movie.
Oh yeah, the Elvis movie
that you watched. I write down every book that you recommend, every podcast because we have similar sensibility. And I'm like, if Scott likes it, I'll probably like it too.
This is my Sun Studio mug that I got.
Cool.
I got from Sun.
So I want to see that. Where was that Elvis? Was it on Prime or Hulu,
it was on HBO Max.
Oh shoot, I don't get that
but
one.
It might be.
Man,
it might be somewhere else.
I'll have to ask my friend with the freaking Fire Stick that he can get anything with. I won't shout him out.
What does he have? Is it jailbroken?
Something like that, yeah. He can get anything.
We
Popcorn time or whatever, Sometimes
so just in case you
the
weren't,
camera looks shaky, or whatever.
This is what I'm actually listening to right now. My audiobook I'm listening to, The Hidden Nazi, The Untold Story of America's Deal with the Devil.
Yeah, you've been into the whole Holocaust.
I've always been. I'm always into World War II and Holocaust history and memoirs and stuff.
Well, it's always interesting. I mean, this is probably a whole other thing. We'll get back to our let go thing, but I do think it's interesting. People like to perceive of the personality that they would have. Would they be I'll never let them done that to me. I would never be a victim. And then there's people who are like, I would have probably been a rescuer. I would probably have rescued people. Yeah. And then there's the perpetrator. Nobody would have been a perpetrator. I would never, have been a perpetrator. So there's those and then there's the bystanders. There's a lot of bystanders. So it's
I hate to say, I'm almost positive I would have been a bystander.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not my perspective of you.
Well, that's
Perception
cool.
Of you.
That's cool, but I'm not entirely sure. And I guess thankfully I won't know.
Well,
if I'm ever in that situation.
I think you do know. I think we get tested all the time. I think we get tested all the time.
When I see all these stories, the main thing that always sticks out to me is that choice that you have to make on what you value most: your own life, your own future, or that of those
the collective,
or those close to you, your family and friends. And would you stick your neck out to save them? I know for a fact I would.
Well, what about a stranger?
But that's the thing. It's like if there's a guy standing there with a submachine gun and they're beating this guy, am I going to go? You have to think about the logic of it. What am I going to accomplish? Am I just going to go get killed and this guy's still going to keep doing it?
That's not
or do
tactic.
I live to fight fight another day?
That's not the tactic. You don't go up the person with the machine gun. You house somebody or protect them in a different way. I mean, that's stupidity.
This isn't. Well, I never said I was the sharpest knife in the tool shed.
I think that there are ways to tell, though, of the role that you might take. Like if you're in the grocery store and you see somebody screaming at their child, do you say something?
No.
You don't?
I will not.
Okay. You just might be a bystander.
No, see, that's not even fair because
I'm just saying
that I wouldn't. It depends on the situation.
Okay, so
if I thought the person was being completely just unreasonable to their child, then I'd be like, dude, relax, just a baby. But I don't know.
It's interesting. It's just there's roles that I slide into effortlessly.
Oh, I know. I
always say something. I always say, "Oh, you must be having a terrible day." To the adult, it usually catches them because then they, instead of just letting them continue and not have that moment.
This is part of where I'm at too, because I like that. I like that about you and I admire that. And a lot of times I want to be like that. And sometimes it takes a little bit more. So this all comes back to to my regrets, the regrets that I've had over the years.
Oh, like how you did or didn't respond in a certain situation, and to
let
it go.
Now, thankfully, I've never been in a situation where had I spoken up, that guy wouldn't have died.
Right.
Thankfully, I was never in that situation. But there's been a lot of times, and you know what? One thing that I've done recently is I've reached out to people on Facebook that I went to grade school with, elementary school with, that I knew that the other kids were mean to.
Oh,
and I reached out to them and said, I really hate how people treated you. I was not ever really part of the group that but again, I was a bystander because I didn't actually defend them. And that's a regret that I have. Mm-hmm. But
how was that received by people? Because there's different ways people can go with that.
They appreciate it. But they admit that they haven't thought about that in years.
Yeah, painful.
And yet it's something that I
think about,
as soon as I saw the name, I'm like, oh my God. And I remember it was this Vietnamese girl. And all the kids were, and this is 1983. Sure. So we're like 10, 12 years out of Vietnam. So she's a Vietnamese girl. And all the kids are calling her Yang and Gook and all this kind of stuff. And just this horrible stuff. And I hated it. I didn't take part in it, but I also didn't, necessarily stand up. At least I don't think it. I might have. I don't know. I can't remember. My memory is crap for when I was a kid.
I've always tended to take this role. And frankly, what I've learned, this is the learning about myself over the years, the short years. Like I didn't know this about myself, but people don't like you when you do that. Like when you are the interrupter in that way, the truth noticer or person who steps out.
The conscience.
Yeah, a little bit. Like the Lorax. I sing for the truth, you're like, what are you doing? And I can't help it. It's like why I was a teacher, I think, because I that role is very natural to me to take, and people are either going to like me or hate me because that is.
But the world needs people like that. The world needs people like you.
Real hard.
And unfortunately, it's kind of the road to martyrdom in a lot of ways because you can't stop yourself from standing up for the little person, and at the same time, it might be your undoing.
Yeah,
but
I don't think about it myself as a martyr, but I can't if I see that injustice or hear it or know it. I can't. When you were saying about letting things go, I can't let that stuff slide. Like if I walk by that person and they're screaming and belittling their child, I can't walk past it. I can't. Like I can't let it go. In fact, there was someone in my writing group yesterday who mentioned something. She said, I could never say anything. And I thought, my God, I couldn't live with myself if I didn't. So this is part of what I've learned is that we really are so different in the way we choose to respond to things. I don't have a great censor because if I try to stuff it, it doesn't sit well with me. But by the same token, I do realize there are repercussions for not having a censor.
I don't react well in confrontational events. So if there was one time just last year when my wife got into a car accident just around the corner here, and
I remember that the guy at
the man who owns the gas station there was yelling at us because our van was
blocking the way,
was in the parking spot that's
You had to move the car. Right, you had to move the car. There was an accident. It's temporary.
And he would not. He was not the person you could talk to.
Right.
He was just like, just get the car out of here. And I'm like, but sir, the car doesn't move. We've got a tow truck. I don't care. Get it out of here. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you.
Right. But I think
then I started going, because I can't deal with that kind of confrontation. Yeah. Some people excel with that. They're like, I'm going to get in,
But where I go with it is it's not even about the car. It's never about the car. Right. Did he have a fight with his wife that morning? Was it COVID and
No, he's just a nasty old man.
I get that he's a curmudgeon, but it's like, what's going on? Like he's miserable. Wow, you don't have empathy for somebody who just had an accident? Like, what's going on with you? So that's where I go right to that place. I said
that, but it didn't matter.
Too much. I think I give people too much credit there. Sometimes people are just.
He's like, I let you keep that car there for a half hour. It's been there for 2.5 hours. That's enough. That's just for, you used up our best spot. I'm like, really? Is your revenue going to be like, you're going to have to shut your doors now?
What do you want me to do? I mean, we've got a broken car. I don't know. It just, again, it's like, feel free to pay to move it, buddy. Go. Anyway, but tangents. letting tangents, but not tangents. What we can let go and what we hold on to. And I am interested that you still hold on to that stuff. I think I've gotten really good at letting things go. If there's something that I have where I feel like I've wronged somebody, I absolutely have made amends or make amends as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And if it's brought to my attention, I try really hard. I don't like to burn bridges. That's why I say I hold on to people, right? Like, I don't want to do that. It's very hard for me. But the stuff, I don't need the stuff.
Well, I can't get rid of this. Damn it.
Perfect bringing it round.
So
you guys tell us who's got to let go what, and we will have a follow-up next week of what that looked like.
That's right. Thanks for joining us. So what's going on with you got any art classes coming up or anything
October is rebuild.
Rebuild.
I'm all about restocking, rebuilding. My classes are full, and the next thing is November at the Rochester Museum and Science Center, big bazaar there, and I'm just in restock mode. October is a historically restock.
All right. Well, very cool.
Yeah.
And because the holidays are obviously on their way, if you're looking for the perfect gift for someone in your family, try a legacy cast. That's where you sit down with your family and just retell your family stories, all professionally captured right here at RockFox in our luxurious Bushnell's Basin studio.
And you make it so easy. Look, I'm not a especially great storyteller, but here I am looking into the camera having a conversation. Scott makes it so easy. It is a pleasure. And it is pretty deluxe in here. I mean, Scott says that.
And this isn't even the nice room.
Scott makes jokes about it, but it is very comfortable. And, you feel all fancy with your headphones and microphones. So it's a good experience.
Thank you.
Of course.
So check out rockfox.com, or you can actually go to yourlegacycast.com for more information about that. You can interview your family members, just you, or you can hire one of our professional interviewers, such as the great Dave Mamano, is someone who will sit down and he's able to extract the most obscure stories from your
He asked the right questions.
He asked the right questions.
And if you need anybody to do any professional organizing, www.razjacobson.store.
All right. Well, that's it for us. We learned all kinds of stuff.
We did. Thanks. Yeah. All right.
Who wants the plate? Come on.
Have a heart. Yeah.
Look at the plate. All right.
The plate.
Oh, God. And on that note.
Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.